If you're feeling the burnout from a hot summer garden, or you've been wanting to start one but haven't gotten around to it, this might be just what you need. Fall is coming and maybe you're wanting something slower and simpler, but still real. In other words, something that feeds you without taking over your life. Even if you don't have any space, time, or experience, I've got you. This tiny 2x2 setup is what I'm using to grow fresh food this fall with almost no maintenance in just 30 minutes a week, if that. It's low effort, low stress, and fits into a full life. The self-watering part handles the hard stuff so your plants stay happy even when you're stretched thin. It's small enough for a patio, balcony, or even indoors, but it's real gardening and real food. And if you're not ready for a big garden or you're coming off a season that wore you out, this is a gentle way to keep going because sometimes the simplest setup is the one that keeps you growing. While I love this self-watering system for its low maintenance, the same principles apply to grow bags, raised beds, or a small garden spot in the ground. No matter your setup, you can create a thriving garden in a tiny space. And if you want help creating a small space garden that fits your life and feeds your family, I've got a free training that walks you through the steps I've taken to do that. You'll find the link below. If you're setting up a little 2x2 planter like this, it's super beginner friendly. You can make it even easier by using a high quality bagged mix like Fox Farm Happy Frog. I've used it for years to start seeds and in my grow bag recipe. It's OMRI listed, which means it's safe for organic gardening. It's nutrient rich and it won't compact in a small bed like this. You'll need about 3 cubic feet to fill it. This planter is around a foot deep. When you only have a 2 foot by 2 foot space, every inch counts. So choose plants that are not just compact, but really high value, things that pay you back for the space they take up. One of the best ways to maximize a tiny space is to prioritize herbs. They're expensive at the store and rarely fresh when you find them at the store. Growing herbs like chives, basil, parsley, cilantro, thyme, oregano, lavender, German chamomile, Irish lace marigold, and lemon balm can easily save you hundreds each year. Herbs also add so much flavor and variety to your meals. Fresh herbs are a game changer compared to dried ones, although dried ones are also expensive at the store, and it's really easy to dehydrate herbs from your garden in very little time. And nothing beats stepping outside your door to snip exactly what you need from your garden. Quick note on mint though. I absolutely love it too, but it's invasive and I've learned it the hard way. If you're short on time, I would recommend growing it in a separate container so that you're not battling it constantly. Mint can quickly take over your garden if you're not careful, and dealing with it can be frustrating, so it's better to just contain it by itself. In my planter right now, I've got chives, curly parsley, spicy oregano, cilantro, and compact lavender. I picked these up discounted from a local nursery because they're struggling right now at this time of year, but I think this planter is going to give them the right environment to bounce back even in the heat. I put this planter tucked underneath my greenhouse, which doesn't have a cover on it at the moment, but I'm planning to add salad greens and radishes to harvest this fall, maybe into winter, underneath my covered greenhouse. If I can extend the season under there, that's a huge win. Season extension means more fresh food longer, and in small spaces that's especially valuable and pretty easy to do. In my 2x4 foot version of this planter, which I've shown before, I'm growing 2 kinds of lemon balm, Irish lace marigold, lemon thyme, lemon basil, and Munstead lavender. My German chamomile is done for the season, so I've tucked in some curly parsley. The cilantro in the 2x2 will probably bolt soon like it did in my grow bag, but I've succession planted and saved seeds to stretch the harvest into fall and hopefully under the greenhouse too. We eat a lot of cilantro in our house, like cilantro rice and cilantro whenever we have tacos, so it's a must-have for us, and it's hard to find organic at the store. Growing your own means you always have fresh organic herbs on hand, and they taste so good compared to the ones you get at the store. Once they're established, these herbs are super low maintenance. Just snip them regularly to encourage new growth, and you'll be surprised how much you can harvest in a small space. Frequent harvesting also helps keep the plants healthy and productive. Even in a tiny bed, crop choice and timing can make all the difference. If cilantro isn't something you actually use, swap it out for something you do, like basil or chives. A small garden feels much more abundant when it's tailored to your life and your cooking habits. Growing food you actually eat is the secret to a successful garden, no matter what size it is. I like to mix quick growers with steady producers. A couple perennials like chives or oregano provide consistency, while fast crops like radishes or lettuce can fill in the gaps. This mix keeps your garden constantly productive without overwhelming you. For spacing, you don't have to follow plant tags exactly, especially if you're growing mostly herbs or greens. If you're harvesting leaves regularly, tighter spacing works just fine. Try planting 4 to 6 herbs about 8 inches apart. It's tighter than recommended, but with steady harvesting, it works. Tight spacing is actually a bonus because it shades the soil and helps retain moisture, which is great in the summertime. This natural mulch effect keeps roots cooler and conserves water. Cut and come again lettuce works beautifully when planted densely. Just snip it an inch or two above the soil and it regrows a few times before becoming bitter. This means you get multiple harvests from a small space. You can also sneak in fast crops like radishes or salad greens as long as you're harvesting herbs to keep airflow and space open. This layered staggered approach, which is technically intercropping, combines slow growers and quick crops to keep your 2x2 garden surprisingly productive. If you're starting from seed or transplant, remember that roots need time to reach the reservoir in a self-watering bed. Water from the top early on until they're established, because this helps avoid dry root zones early on. Where this setup really shines is once the plants are rooted, and that's when the real harvest begins and the joy kicks in. You're picking fresh herbs or greens a few times a week, and it only takes minutes to keep things going. So what does maintenance actually look like in a garden this size? Not much. They're just a few simple tasks, and most of them are quick and enjoyable. I spend maybe 30 minutes a week on this planter and often less. Here's what that includes. I check the water level, and in hot weather I might top water at the surface if the soil feels dry or if the plants are still young. The self-watering reservoir takes care of most of the watering, but it's good to check weekly. I also make sure mulch is in place. Right now I'm using pine needles in one planter and rice hulls in this one. Both help retain moisture and even deter slugs. Mulch also prevents weeds and keeps soil temperatures stable. I also prune herbs and support taller plants as needed. In a smaller bed, even compact varieties benefit from gentle training or staking. This helps airflow and prevents disease. And then comes the harvesting, and honestly that's what takes the most time, and that's the fun part. With herbs, the more you harvest, the more they grow. Frequent harvesting prevents overcrowding and extends the life of fast crops like lettuce and cilantro. Here's a note about fertilizing. Self-watering planters hold consistent moisture, which can break down water-soluble fertilizers faster, leading to salt buildup if you're not careful. I haven't fertilized mine. I'm actually using compost, but if you do fertilize, I'd recommend choosing a slow release or granular option mixed into the soil or as a top dressing. If using liquid, I would dilute it to about 1/4 of the strength and don't pour it into the reservoir. Flushing the reservoir a few times a season helps prevent salt accumulation, which can stress plants over time. This is an easy step that pays off in healthy roots and plants. So now that the system's running and the plants are in place, let's talk about what happens when the seasons shift and how to prep for your next round of harvests. One of the best parts of a small space like this is how easy it is to keep it from going empty. With a little bit of planning, you can harvest current crops while already growing your next ones. I mentioned in a previous video that the best way to feed soil microbes is to always have something growing. That's because roots feed them the best. Healthy soil means healthy plants. This planter is actually about 21 inches by 24 inches, so it's a little smaller than 2x2, but still around 4 square feet like a classic square foot garden. That makes it easy to plan layouts and choose high yield crops. Right now, this tea garden bed is full of spring to summer herbs, but next season I can refresh the theme around the perennials that keep coming back. After a compost top dress, this could become a salad bed, a salsa garden, and even a snack garden with cherry tomatoes, baby cucumbers, and basil. Mini gardens are easy to theme, like this tea garden with lavender, chamomile, and lemon balm, or a salsa garden with cilantro, green onions, tomatoes, and peppers, but again, compact pepper varieties like the lunchbox ones and tomato varieties like Tiny Tim work the best. Some succession planting ideas in a small space like this is in early spring, you could start with cool weather herbs like cilantro and tuck in some arugula or radishes. In late spring to early summer, as cool crops fade, you can replant with heat lovers like basil or compact peppers, again like the lunchbox ones, or patio tomatoes like Tiny Tim. In mid to late summer, you can start prepping for fall more, like cilantro, salad greens, radishes, beets, or carrots. Cool hardy crops thrive in the fall and taste even better. You can add a row cover to stretch the season even further. To maximize space even more, depending on the growing season, you can use a trellis on the north or west side for climbers like peas or pole beans. This creates shade below for greens. A lightweight cover protects against pests and heat and extends the season. The Vigo planter I'm using comes with a cover system that also works as a trellis frame. Place taller crops on the north side so they don't shade shorter ones. And for carrots, you could pick compact, shallow-rooted types like Chantenay, Paris Market, Thumbelina, or Atlas. These work well in 9 to 12 inch deep containers. Danvers, which I love to grow, also work, but they do prefer slightly deeper soil, but they're worth a shot. Other compact crops are bush beans, green onions, arugula, salad greens, radishes, beets, and peas, but of course with the peas you'd need a trellis. This kind of planning, matching crops to space and season, helps you get a bigger harvest with less effort. Now that you know what to grow and when, let's talk about some simple ways to boost your harvest even more without adding work. Once your garden's planted and growing, the goal isn't to work more, it's to make it work better for you. Here are a few simple ways to level up your results. Add a trellis on the north or west side for climbing crops. This takes advantage of vertical space without shading your main crops. Use a lightweight cover for heat or pest protection. Covers can also extend your growing season by protecting tender plants from early frost or extreme heat. You can add a thin mulch layer like pine needles, rice hulls, or chopped leaves to retain moisture and reduce weeds. Mulch breaks down slowly and feeding the soil as it does. None of this is required, but each one helps your garden become more productive and lower maintenance over time. This little setup is manageable, rewarding, and designed to fit into your life, and with just a little care each week, probably less than 30 minutes, you can grow fresh herbs and veggies right where you need them. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about making your garden work for you, your tastes, your space, and your schedule. If you're ready to start your own productive small space garden or want step-by-step support, I'd love to invite you to my free training. It walks you through everything I've learned about growing food in small spaces without the overwhelm. You'll find the link below. And if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Drop any questions or comments below because I love hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video.